All right. Hey guys. So welcome to our first lesson in Photoshop. So I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible, but we have a lot of stuff to go over, so we'll see. Um, so I'm inside of Photoshop. Now, you will need to download images. So I am going to tell you places like pexels.com, unsplash.com, or Adobe. But the places I just named, Pexels and Unsplash, you can get your images free, royalty free. So they have a lot of images on there. So I would definitely check those two out. I will post a link into Blackboard, but I just want to make sure that I'm pointing those out to you. Now I have Adobe Stock. I pay for it, so that's probably what I'm going to use for this because it's super quick, easy for this tutorial. So I'm going to hit Create New. All right, so when I hit Create New, you guys are going to be doing two things, and they're both pretty much mobile or web. So when you do your Facebook wall, that's going to be web. So you click on the web tab, and notice that when you click web, it has a lot of new or a lot of presets already here for you. If you needed to make a specific preset, which you will, you would go over here to the width and the height, and you would make a specific preset. Do not change the resolution. The basic resolution for web is 72 pixels. The resolution for print, we'll get to that when we get down there, but it is 300. But all you need to know right now is the resolution for mobile or web devices is 72 pixels per inch. Really, anything that is being projected through a screen or is using light is going to be at 72 pixels. You'll learn a lot about this in the videos. I'm just giving you a brief synopsis. Color mode, we're going to keep at RGB. Okay. Now, if we were doing print, it would be CMYK, but for now, we're going to keep it at RGB. Plus, with this being an online course, most of our projects that we're creating are online. So all of our projects we're creating are for online viewing. Okay, so there's nothing else that you need to mess with in this area. Pretty much all you're doing is changing the width and height if you need to. As long as you selected web, all of your presets are going to be here set perfectly for you. All right, so we're going to hit, I'm going to pretend that this is the size, but no, I'm not, because I want you to see. So let's say I wanted something. Now remember, your size is going to be different. Those sizes are already set. Follow the instructions to know what size to make this. So, but let's just say for me, I'm doing something that I want 900 pixels by, let's just say 700 pixels, okay, at 72 DPI, color mode RGB. All right, so I would just hit create, okay, and then once I hit create, I have an artboard. Now, one of the things that I want to go over real quick with you is over here to the right. These are your panels. This Learn panel is going to be an amazing friend to you, especially if you want to learn how to do new things, right? So if you needed fundamental skills, like, and you guys, I encourage you to use this because these are the only ways that you're going to learn it. As you know, even in a typical 15-week class, we will not learn enough about Photoshop. So there are a lot of tutorials that you guys are going to have to do outside of the lessons that you get here. So I definitely encourage you to use this Learn panel. And you will learn pretty much everything that you need. But fundamentals, so if you click on that, it's going to take you to some tutorials like the Photoshop tour. Definitely need to do that. Working with multiple layers, all that fun stuff. What I'm going to teach you are pretty quick how to do the projects, but you're going to have to rely on these tutorials to actually learn the programs. All right, so we have this Learn panel, but for now, I don't need it, and it's taking up real estate, so I'm going to close it. So the way that I can close this, a few ways. I can click on the words, and I can move it around. I can move it outside of here, or I could just close it. Or I could go to this little, these three list panel over here to the right, and I can choose close, or I can choose close group. So if I had multiple ones, I would choose close group, and it would just close that group out. So then I have libraries. This is going to be very important to us, so I'm going to keep this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to nest it into one of these areas. So again, I'm just going to click on the word libraries, and you can arrange this any way you want. And then I'll click in there, and now I have that real estate back. Now, another thing too, so I have this, if I did something and I went too far and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to change that, I can just go over here to Window and then I could choose Reset, right? So the workspace that I'm in right now says Essentials Default. If I wanted to change that, I could just click on Reset Essentials and it'll reset the workspace for me. Now, I don't want to do that. I wish there was an undo, but I want to show you what it does. All right, so I'm going to go back and just do that. Okay. And all I did was put it back, so I know it was pretty fast. All right, so what I'm going to do, and this right here, history panel, is going to be our friend. So anyway, so we have the libraries panel, we have the patterns panel, we have gradient, we have swatches, we have color. We're not going to use all of those, so typically I'll try to delete some. Channels, we're not going to go into channels, so I'm going to pull that out and delete it. Paths, we're not going to go into paths, so I'm going to pull that out and delete it. Adjustments, we are going to need. Properties, we are going to dabble with. Swatches, we will probably need. And I'm just going to keep all the rest because they're fine. But if I wanted to save this workspace, I could go to Window, Workspace, and then I can go down to New Workspace. Click on that, and I'll just call this Teaching. And then toss because it is in the workspace. It's in the workspace I would keep. So typically you're going to see me put toss on stuff that I wouldn't keep. If you want to set up keyboard shortcuts, menus, toolbars, all that fun stuff, you can, but we're not going to go into that. All right. So I hit save. Okay. So what I'm going to do next is I hit Command 0 because I'm on a Mac. If you're on a PC, it's going to be Control 0. Okay. All right, and you guys will see this because I'm recording, and this is the software that I'm using to record Screencastify. So if I want to minimize this a little bit, because the screen is a little bit too big, I'm going to hit Command minus. Again, if you're on a PC, it will be Control minus. All right, so that's pretty okay. I'm cool with that. So what I'm going to do now, and typically, like I said, okay. If you want to bring in an image, you would go to File, and then you can go down to Place Embedded or Place Linked. The difference between the two, if you place it linked, then what's happening is that file sits exactly where it is. It never leaves that spot, and you're just linking to it from this document. Where that is good is it actually saves you some hard drive space on your computer. Where that is bad is if you go back and forth to someone else's house. Let's say you created this awesome document and you go to somebody else's house, you won't have the file. Or let's say you send it to a client and you forget to package it, you won't have the file. So what I typically do, especially at student level, is I tell you guys to choose Place Embedded. And also you're going to see in here where it says search Adobe Stock, because you can search Adobe Stock for additional photos and things like that. But for now, I'm just going to hit Place Embedded. Now, I don't know what images I'm going to get. This is a brand new computer. I did try to port everything over, but we'll see. Gotta live dangerously. Oh, there are some photos. Okay, so let's say I choose. Oh, but anyway, yeah, no, I know what I'm gonna get. That's my new niece. Is she cute? Okay, so let's say I choose a photo, right? So if I wanted to choose this photo, I would. Now, here's another thing too. These are my cloud documents, so I have stuff in here. You might not, so don't worry about that. This is just to show you that if you do have documents that you worked on in the past and worked on in Photoshop and brought them open, they'll be over here. This is me teaching my daughter how to use the iPad, Photoshop on an iPad. It's pretty cool. All right, so, but if I don't, I'm going to choose on your computer. And that was the key right on the bottom left. And then I can search my computer for possible photos to use. So my daughter has artwork in here. So if I wanted to use, some of her artwork, I could. Let's just say I wanted to use this one. And I will hit place. And then I can set some parameters, and then I can place her artwork in here. So if I wanted to use that, so if you have artwork on your computer or that you downloaded from the internet that you want to use those. Go for it. Now, as far as I have artwork, like I said, from Adobe Stock because I have Adobe Stock. Now, Adobe Stock, you can get, I think, 5 photos free. I'm not quite sure, but you can use Adobe Stock, play around with it in the beginning. And I think it gives you 5 photos free. I'm not quite sure. But so this is how we would do it if we were bringing the photo from our computer. Now, I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is delete it. So I'm just going into so this is my layers panel. I'm going into the layers panel and I'm going to drag it down to the trash can. Okay. And now I'm back to a blank slate. Hopefully that was slow enough for you. I know this is a new program. And like I said, that's why I'm going to give you the link to the other videos to watch so you can get a slower view. But we got like 5 weeks to go through a lot of stuff, guys. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna get through it, and it's gonna be stressful, and that's all cool, But you're gonna learn a lot if you hang. All right, so here is our main document. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over to libraries, and then actually I'm gonna show you this way. So I'm gonna go to File, and I'm gonna go to where it says Search Adobe Stock. I'm gonna click that. And then what happens is Adobe Stock is opening over in my other window. So let me bring that over here. Okay. What happens is Adobe Stock opens and I'm already signed in, but if you're not, you would just go to the top and you would sign in, or it would ask you about signing in. So I design on the fly. So I'm going to try to think of a topic. Let's say we just had the 4th of July. So I'm going to say, I'm going to be patriotic. Let's do 4th of July. All right. So let's see. I have there's a composite that was already done, very nicely done. And another thing is too, you can look at these for inspiration as well. So we have the 4th of July and I'm looking at this. I'm like, oh, I kind of like how that's arranged. Okay, so maybe I want to arrange mine something like this. Or down here, I might be like, oh, I kind of like how the flag is, in the perspective of the flag for this one. So I might want to use that. Or I might go here and say, oh, I kind of like how it's only showing the stars of the flag at the bottom and then it shows the stripes at the top. Oh, I might want to do something like that. Or I'll come here and say, oh, I kind of like how they have the script font and then the flag kind of in the middle. So maybe I want to do something like that. You just never know how inspiration is going to hit you. Or even here, I might say, oh, I kind of like this and how they use the red, white, and blue symbols to kind of frame the photo or frame the design, and then they can design in the center. So there's so many things that you'll get from just looking and viewing and checking out the idea right here, right? The little dog with the cool glasses and it's on the flag that might be kind of cool, or the hands across America of different races and diversity, and they're forming a heart. Love that. Okay. So I might look for inspiration, and this is how I might look for it. You just never know. So one of the things I kind of like this photo right here. I kind of like these fireworks. So I think I'm going to do these fireworks. So if you're on Adobe Stock and you decide that you like it, right here where it says download preview, you can click that. And what's cool about that is then you have a preview of the image. So you didn't even buy it yet. So you have a preview of the image to see how it's going to look and how it's going to work in your design, which is super cool. So I'm going to click download. Now, if you do use Adobe Stock and you like it, make sure it's either one of your 5 free or that you license the photo. Do not turn in your work with the Adobe Stock logo on it. That's not going to be a good turnout at all. All right, so I like that image, and maybe I like this one. So I'm going to click on download preview. And it's actually downloading into, these are actually downloading into my drive. Typically, if I go through here, it'll download into my library, but we'll see how it goes. Maybe I like this one with the stars and stripes in the background. So, and then remember that framing, kind of like that one. So I just pretty much go through and I try to find different photos that'll work for whatever ideas that I have. Typically, I sketch it first, but I'm living dangerously. I kind of like this little beach scene. We're going to see what I can do with that. And then I'm going to type, let's see, I saw night sky. I like that. So I'm just typing in the search something that I'll want to search. I like that. Look at that. That night sky was nice. Matter of fact, I don't want to spend a lot of time searching, so I'm going to choose this one. I'm going to choose this one, and kind of like that. Let me see. I like this. That's what I was looking at. And I'm going to choose this one because I like colors. You'll see as we progress that I'm really into colors. Look at that. Oh my goodness, look at that. So I like stuff. The hardest part for me is usually this part and choosing fonts because I just love them. But anyway, so I'm going to click. Okay. I'm going to. Okay. I'm going to stop looking because this, like I said, this is my weakness big time. All right. So I'm going to go back into, let's see. So I got stars. I got stars. What else do I need? I need something else. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe people. People in masks. I don't know. It might get crazy. Let's just see. This is the dangers you have of me working without a plan. Yeah, this is about to be crazy. Okay, so this one. And then, oh, I love smiley faces. Okay, I'm gonna let it go right now. Oh, they're happy right there, but I'm gonna let it go. Okay, so now I have some images that I think I want to use, and what I'm going to do now is now I'm back into Photoshop. So I'm going to look in my library because I'm just trying to see if the image is actually uploaded to the library. Like I said, that's my first time actually using that route, using the file menu to go to Adobe. I always go to my library. So let's see. Well, if it did upload to the library, I have no idea where it went. So, all right. So this gives us an opportunity to just go to File. And then I'm going to go down to Place. I'm going to try Embedded. And now if I go down to, I think that went into my Downloads folder. Let me go to date. Yep, went to my downloads folder. So I'm going to go to downloads and notice it says Adobe Stock Preview. So what this means is these are going to come in with, what do you call it? With the watermark. Okay, so I'm going to click one. Maybe I'll click. I'm just going to randomly click. We're just going to see. We're going to live dangerously. No, we're not. We're going to live one at a time. All right, so that's one. And I got to wait for it. Okay. All right, so the smiling faces. I'm going to place embedded again. Now, another thing you can do too, but we won't. We're going to do this route. I don't want to confuse you and add another thing, but there is other options and ways to bring these in faster. But we're just going to place embedded. Let's see. So we have that one. Let's try this one. Yes. And let's try one more. Place embedded. So all I'm doing is placing embedded. I can also preview. I have a Mac, so if I hit the space bar, I can preview to see what the photo actually looks like. Okay, I told a fib. I said one more, but that wasn't the one I was looking for. But I like it. All right, and then I'm gonna preview, and let's see. Ooh, like this one. I like that one. But no, so hard to decide. I'm gonna go with this one since it was. I don't know. I gotta grab the other one too because there you go. All right. So okay, I'm getting out of there. All right. So now what we see, if we look over to the right, we see that we have layers, right? So these are layers that were created as I placed each photo, right? So we started off with layer one, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So 7 additional layers came in. And so now we're seeing all of the things on top of each other, and this is because their visibility is showing. So if we look in the layers panel, it says layers, and we see artboard 1, which means that this white area, this is called an artboard. And we'll see all the things that make up this layer. But now something else to keep in mind is that they stack, right? So if we look, we have layer 1, and as I put the other one in, it stacked this one, and they stack on top of the other. So what I'm going to do is hide these real quick, just so you can see how they stack. So I have the eyeball, and typically I can hide the visibility by just clicking on the eyeball. So what I'm going to do is click and press the mouse, hold down, and I'm just going to move up so that I can get all of these at once. So now we're back at our base level, and if we click on an eye, we can see how they're stacking, right? So this is stacking on top of the base level, the first photo I brought in. That one stacks on top of the next level. That one stacks on top of the next level. That one, and so forth and so on. So this is just to show you that they have a stacking order. Okay. So what I want to do is I'm going to click on the first image, and I want to resize it so I could transform it to what I want to do, right? So I could choose edit, then I could choose transform, and then I could like scale it or what have you, so I have options in here. Or I could just hit Control or Command T, whichever one you have. If you have if you have a Mac, then it's going to be Command. If you have a PC, it's going to be Control. But here's what's interesting, what you just saw happen. When I hit Control T, it says, hey, it can't do that because the bounding area is empty. So very, very important. So glad it happened. I'm going to hit OK. What that means is when you're in Photoshop, remember I said it's very layer, right? It relies on layers. Layers are everything in Photoshop. So we have layer 1, and that's the layer that I'm on, and there's no photo on layer 1. So it's like, well, what do you want to transform? There's nothing here to transform. So I have to make sure that I'm on the right layer. So making sure you're on the right layer is very, very important. Now that I'm on the right layer and I hit Control or Command T, now I can actually take and hit Option and Shift, extend this out, if I wanted to. Now, here's the thing. I said Option and Shift, but Photoshop has changed. Used to be you had to hit Shift in order to have the photo constrain, right? I'm going to hit Undo, which is a Command Z. But now you don't have to hold Shift. So because of that, that takes a lot of getting used to, especially if you're conditioned with Photoshop. So I don't have to hold Shift anymore, but what Shift does is constrain it. It's going to make sure that the photo does not skew. So make sure, but with this version of Photoshop, if you have this version, you do not have to hold Shift to constrain it. So don't hold Shift if you have this version. So the other thing is Option. So what Option does, so if I go and I pull this photo out, right, notice it's pulling from, or it's expanding from the right side and the bottom, but the left side, right, and the top stay put. Okay. Now that has to do with the registration mark and where the registration mark is, but also this is how it typically spreads. So I'm gonna hit Control Z, and what I'm gonna do is hold Option. Now when I pull it out, you'll notice it is pulling from the center, right? So just keep that in mind. I'm gonna put Option. I'm gonna put that back to the edge because I like that and I don't want to cut anybody off. All right, so I'm gonna go to the next layer. The next layer has this heart, and I kind of like how it's forming around the people. Now, remember I said, so I'm gonna see where I want to position the heart, because the heart's kind of like what I want to focus on in this photo. So maybe I'll put it right here. Okay, so maybe this is the area that I'm gonna go for, right? So now this video is going to be so long, so I'm probably going to cut it in a few minutes, but and then we'll just have multiple videos. But what I'm going to want to do is I want to position this, and we're going to get into masking and selecting and stuff like that in just a few. But let me see if I can position some of these photos to get them where we want it. So now I'm showing another layer. I'm going to hit Command or Control T. Oops, I'm going to hit Escape, because what happened it wasn't on the layer that I wanted, right? So when I hit Command or Control T, it was still trying to select that layer. Wonder why that happened? Because I'm on the wrong layer. So let me make sure I'm get on the correct layer. Now if I hit Control T, now I should be able to expand this one because I want this one to go the full width. Making sure I don't hold Shift because I was just holding Shift, tells you a creature of habit. All right, so I'm only holding Alt, and now I have this photo extending, and I like that. And as a matter of fact, I kind of want this to extend, but I want this to be on the bottom, right? So if I want that to be on the bottom, then in my layers, I can grab this layer by its name, right? Notice I'm just grabbing by its name, and I'm dragging it down right on top of layer one. So now I have that layer in the background, the people on top, and the heart on top. So now let's see what I want to do. So I'm kind of just really like framing this and trying to set everything up and trying to figure out where I want things to go, right? Visually. Now all this could change. I could see this and be like, oh my gosh, this is so horrible. Let's change it. But it's okay. That's the cool thing about art and about design is you're not stuck to it. Now with graphic design, you do have to follow rules, and you can break some rules, you know? So, all right, I'm gonna hit Control or Command T, and I'm going to make this larger. I'm holding Alt only up, but look what happened. What did I do? Why did that just happen? Why is it not the correct thing that I want? Yeah, I know you guys said it. I know you said it. You were like, hey, lady, get on the right layer, right? Get on my game. I know, I'm just so horrible. All right, so I'm gonna hit Command or Control T, and I'm going to extend this out. Oh, but I held Shift. Oh, tell you, I let go of Shift, and now I'm gonna extend that out. Hit Return, and now another cool thing too, you can use your arrows on your, as long as you're on the right layer. So I'm using my right arrow that's on my keyboard, and I'm moving this over. And if I want it to go faster, I can hold Shift as I move it over. Okay. So that's another cool thing for you guys to know. All right, so maybe I like that. And now maybe I want to see how with this kind of work in the background. I kind of like it. So I want to make sure I'm on that layer. And I'm going to hit Control T. And like I said, I'm just really just framing stuff up. I held Shift and I held Command. Now what Command will do is it'll allow you to kind of skew the photo and set perspective, take it out of perspective. It's pretty cool, but that wasn't what I was trying to do. Now I want to make sure I hold Shift. I'm sorry, not Shift. I want to make sure I hold Alt and move this over because I want some of that smoke that's coming out in there. And I did notice that I kind of want my top layer to be that frame. So I'm going to hit Enter. So that's another thing too. When you hit Control T or Command T, um, like this, and you're trying to do something else, it's not going to let you because you have to commit. You have to. If you don't hit Enter or you don't hit Return, or you don't go up here to this check mark and check it to tell it, oh, I'm good with that, then it's not going to let you. Okay, so make sure you commit. You have to commit when you're using certain keys. All right. So I think I want to move this layer down one so that the fireworks come and that this is on top. But we'll see. That's something I'll have to play with. And let me check my last one. And I think I'm okay. So I'm going to not use that one. So I'm going to keep it just in case though, in case I change my mind. All right. So that being said, I have the file set up, thinking that I have everything where I want it. I'm going to do a file, save as, because we want to make sure that we're saving. We should have saved in the beginning, but all right. So file, save as. And now I have options. I can choose to save to cloud documents, or I can choose to save on my computer. Either one, what happens is if you save it on your computer, then it's on directly on your hard drive. If you save to the cloud documents, then it sits in your Adobe Cloud, and you have access to it everywhere. So either way, it's good. This one's taking up space from your Adobe Cloud, but you can't go wrong either way. So whichever way you want to save it, save it. It just really just depends on how often you want to access it. But if you want to link to it for a client to see, then you're probably going to go for the cloud. I'm going to go to save to cloud documents, and I'm going to name this demo online 2020. All right. So for me, this demo online 2020. That's just the naming convention for me that works. I'm going to choose save. And now the file is saved. So with that being saved, I'm going to break the video here, and then we'll pick up in another video where we'll start doing masking and fun stuff like that. All right. See you guys in a few.